In the name of Amen the Supreme, the all-powerful, one and only true Lord, and Amen we trust, as the Republic of Mentellect, the real 144,000 is being gathered this day and time, Mentellectuals. Menzeka Aminun to all of my Mentellectual brothers and sisters out there, registered members of the Republic of Mentellect, and to all future Mentellectuals who have yet to find their way home to the Republic of Mentellect, which is Amen's community. I send greetings out to you, and I send peace out to you in our Mentelian language by saying to you, Menzeka Aminun. Good evening, I'm your host, the intellectual leader, MENKARAYZZ. This is Mentellect Radio, and tonight we're going to be discussing the diamond mine. Now, when I, came up with this title, when it came to me, it occurred to me that we as carbon-based beings, so-called bronze, the bronze race, so-called black people, the bronze race, we as carbon beings, carbonated beings, not melanated beings, but carbonated beings, of the literal element of carbon, are, over time, going to produce an extended version of this carbon material in key places within us, right? In key places within us, just like in all states of evolution, you're going to develop things if you are able to be extended or evolved in any way, shape, or form or sense. So, as carbon beings who are, some of us in a state of higher development, higher mental capabilities, who are after that alignment and after that order of that, diamond mines are going to be presented in place of the carbon-based, reception or the carbon-based magnetic field around the brain. Right? There's going to be a diamond field around the brain, a magnetic diamond field around the brain, and thus even the brain is going to become like a diamond receptor. It's going to become what they're going to call crystallized, right? It's going to start to crystallize, but it's not the crystal as in regular crystal like quartz and things like that. It's going to start to become more of a diamond shape. Why is that? Answer: because it is good for reception, as I said before. It is good for reception and pulling in extended pictures in outer dimensions. This is a capability that many of our people will possess who are of the brighter bronze race. Not the people who are disconnected, the low-level ones who are, still in the mindset of being black people. But as the, brighter bronze race, meaning those bronze beings, carbon beings, who realize that our skin is actually bronze and that we actually are elemental beings and not human beings or, any of this genetic makeup that they're trying to pass off on us, same as the humans. We are elemental beings because we carry all or most of the important elements in the earth within our body, in our genetic makeup. And these are for the purpose of reception and movement and extended motion. So we carry these things in our body. We carry the carbon, which is a base to connect all other elements to, that you can find in heavy abundance in our bodies. I'm talking about the bronze man and the bronze woman, so-called black man and so-called black woman. This is why we are the most dominant people on this planet, because of our housing of all of these elements in our body that's found in the earth. As I said, we are the first ones to be projected here. And from our projection came the clones. And from the clones came the creation of the humans, right? But it was all a projected process. And those who stored the most elements, such as us, we're evolving into a higher state of being. And all of the elemental makeup in us is going to start to become diamondated for the ability of higher reception, the ability to send telepathic messages, aka transmissions, to receive telepathic messages, to have higher mental capabilities, to have access to higher mental capabilities. That can only come by way of a mind field or magnetic mind field that is starting to become diamondated or becoming more of a diamond crystallized form. And that's reality. It's starting to become more of a diamond crystallized form, the ability of reception. And music, and I said this before, in the old, needles and the on the record player, they use diamonds or chips of diamonds for the music, when it was on the vinyl, for the music to come through the needle and whatnot and pick up reception, sound, audio, right? A diamond was used. See, diamonds are used for reception. Diamond is used for transmitted. They use diamonds in certain high-tech communication instruments. They'll use diamonds because diamonds are high receivers. So now you think about certain people who carry that same ability to receive transmission as they are going from carbon beings and evolving into diamonds. Because again, what does coal, which is carbon, what does it evolve into over time? Coal evolved into diamond over time, right? The best coal, the best pieces of coal. Some coals are just going to be coal. And then you got the highest forms of coal that might be amongst the low-level bits of coal that, they're not going to evolve into diamonds, right? They're not going to grow into diamonds. They're not going to be able to store, maintain, or be, transmitted. It's the same way, same mindset of the bright ones who were planted amongst the dead black race. Same mindset. You plant or you implant the bright ones, the bright seed, those who are the solar projected beings, you implant them amongst the black people, the clones, the dead black race, the ones who are mentally severed from their higher connection. You plant them there, and then at a certain period, at a certain point, there starts to be a transformation and an evolution of those brighter minds, and they start to come out. They start to evolve and advance in their way of thinking ahead of everybody else. See, this is all a planned process. Same way you have diamonds, certain diamonds that will come out of coal or evolve or grow out of coal. You see, not all coal is going to produce diamonds. You have your inferior coal, which they burn in furnaces and things like that, because if that was the case, they wouldn't be, using certain coal and whatnot. Certain coal is just going to be inferior coal, and then you're going to have high-grade coal, which will evolve into diamonds, right? Your scientists may not even tell you this, but like I said, how do they judge which bits of coal, or how much, which bits of coal are going to grow or evolve into diamonds versus those that will not, those will just be burned in furnaces and used just for heat and things like that. So that means that they have a standard. They have a standard for levels of coal, right? They have a standard for it. They know which ones will, more than likely, they probably do know. They probably, know that which ones, because, the white man, he studies everything. He knows which ones are going to evolve into diamonds and which are not, right? They discover these things over time. And how they discover these things, because the Amen being are constantly transmitting this message or transmitting this intel to the planet. And certain people are going to pick that up and realize what the usefulness of these elements and materials are for. Like, for example, the idea to use use oil as fuel, right, came by way of the Amen being who sent that transmission in, and certain men picked that up and said, you know what, this oil is coming out of the ground to be used for something. Now, how did they know that that oil could be used for fuel? How did they know that coal could be used for fuel? Who advanced their way of thinking to know that these natural resources in the earth could be used for fuel and be used for, the betterment or the use of people, right? There had to be a transmission that was sent here, an idea that they picked up. They've always been transmitting these thoughts here onto this planet. So again, now, because I said this before, we are the natural receivers of all intelligence here on the planet, but this is why they have to keep our people dumbed down so that we don't evolve too quickly into that level of thinking. But the evolution has already started. And certain ones of our people are starting to receive and transmit. And those are the ones whose minds are going from a carbon state, or that mind or that magnetic field around the brain is starting to go from from a carbon state to a diamondated state. The brain itself is going to start to evolve into a diamond form, right? So they can receive that transmission, so it can put off that energy or that power or that magnetic pull from the transmission. So when the transmissions come in, they come in clearer. So the mind field or the magnetic field is going to start to become a diamondated energy around it, the brain, which is going to become diamondated or become a diamond. And in that, you're going to start to receive greater transmission, extended mental capabilities, and the ability to send messages out stronger, even to take hold of the mind of other people. See, this transmission, right, and this evolution into the diamond mind and the diamond brain, right, is a slow process, in that it is a chosen process. It is a process of election, right? It is a process of election. Whose brains, whose minds, that magnetic field, because that's what the mind is, a magnetic field around the brain, whose minds will grow into a diamondated state, whose minds will extend into that state of transmission to receive that, or those high functioning or high frequency messages. That's the elect. Remember in the ancient, they kept talking about the crystal skulls? Remember that they was talking about in the ancient world, crystal skulls? Obviously somebody knew about that mentality, that mindset of, because why would you talk about crystal skulls, right? What would make people think about crystallized skulls? They even had diamond skulls, right? Skulls that they shaped out of from diamonds, right? They made, or they sculpted skulls out of diamonds, but they told, it was a crystal, but the whole point is that a diamond is the highest functioning or highest functioning crystal. A diamond is a high functioning crystal. That's all a diamond is, right? And crystals are used for what? Reception, and they're also used for projection. Crystals are used for reception and projection. Okay? Because when you had your, what they used to call those women, those fortune tellers, remember the old story of the fortune teller, and they would have the crystal ball. And what would they see in the crystal ball? They would see the future of the people, or they would tell you your future in the crystal ball. Why was the ball crystal? Why was the ball crystal? Answer, because that was their way of saying that the elements that are in this planet, right, give you the ability to see pictures, right, on this planet, images, or receive images on this planet. There's the crystals in this planet give you the ability to see images on this planet, give you the ability to receive messages and transmissions on this planet. I told you before, think of this like a TV or a television, right? And you have certain elements in the TV. You have certain tubes and things like that in the TV, right? And you can't, unless you have the right tubes and, things in there to pull in the picture, right? It's not going to come on. It's the same thing here on the earth. You have certain elements, right? Copper, diamonds, zinc, all kinds of precious metals. You have them sewn into the planet to do what? To produce pictures for the people who are walking on the surface of it, to be a magnetic or receiver to the transmission that's being projected through the sun by the Amen. They're projecting transmission through the sun, right, onto the planet. And the reason why we're able to see these things is because of the elements in the planet. Okay? It's the same, like I said, it's the same thing as the I gave the analogy of the sun being the projector, right, and the planet being the screen or the television, right? And the projector has to have something to project toward. What is this projecting toward? It's projecting toward the planets, right? And each dimension is picking up different pictures, different sounds, different transmissions, extended versions of it, and on some levels, lower versions of it. It's channeling power, energy, channeling messages, channeling sound. So as certain people are evolving by way of this, they are channeling the same thing. You're picking up the same picture. Certain people are on a higher frequency, and they can channel in more pictures. Certain people are on a higher frequency or a lower frequency where they can only channel in certain pictures. You see? So this is where images and imagination and things come from. What did I tell you before? They're always in this society, the ones who control the communication system, they're always trying to capture your imagination, aka capture the images that are being sent to you into your mind, the natural images that are coming by way of the elements in your brain, especially you so-called black people, because you have the highest form of elements in your brain. We have the highest forms of elements, being the first ones here, the first ones to project here, and even you clones, you have certain levels of it, and it picks up as logic and rationale because you can basically understand or comprehend what you're seeing. You have certain people who cannot comprehend the things they're seeing, so their mind is irrational and illogical because they can't pick up the pictures or the images that come to them. They can't make them out. So therefore, these people become erratic in their mind, in their way of thinking, in their way of processing thought. They become erratic in their behavior because they can't process the images that are coming into this planet, that are coming into these dimensions. You have to be able to process that. So the ability to process that deals with the elements in your body. What did Dr. Sebi say? Why he kept saying, you know, our people need iron. He kept saying iron. Right? Iron as an element, right? Iron is an element. And then you have carbon, which we are, to produce steel, right? These are all elements that we're made up of, that we're coming into. So then you have to have a natural receiver of these transmissions or these messages that are coming through. Your mind has to be evolved enough to comprehend them. And if you're constantly being told that you're black people, that's like being somebody telling you that the television is off, that the television is not working, that it's not picking up messages, that the screen is blank, aka black. You have no idea of what the images are that you're supposed to be picking up in your head of who you are and who you're supposed to become. So the images are blank in your head. They put blank images in your head, which is why they call you black people. Black translates as blank, meaning nothing, absence of light, absence of transmission. So when we say, okay, we buy into that, and the thought process goes off, the thought procession or the ability to process this goes off, then the evolution of the mind into that state of a dominated form slows down. It slows down. Okay? It starts to slow down because, again, this magnetic pulsation, because, again, certain people, you cannot help the ideas or the frequency of the things you can pull in. Certain people are chosen to pull these things in. Certain people will not get it. But those who are able to pull it in, they're part of that evolution or the dominated mind. The mind being again, the magnetic pulsation that's around the brain that pulls in the thoughts and the ideas. So obviously a change has to be happening in the brain in order for the mind around it to pull in higher mental capability and frequency. Again, this is the same reason why with a lot of these cell phones, which I tell y'all why not to put these up to your ears or keep them close to your face like that, because it starts to mess with the transmissions in your head. It starts to mess with and alter the transmissions in your head. Don't keep them close to your ear or put them close to your face. Always speak to them on speaker, because they're meant to throw off the transmission that you're pulling in. They're meant to get, some of you will get headaches, right? Some of you will get headaches and things like that because they're using a lot of these magnetic or these metals that are pulling in the frequency on a stronger current, and it throws off the natural mental current that's supposed to be in reception with you, that you're supposed to be in reception of. See? The natural mental current is for those who are evolving into that diamond mind, from that carbon-based mind, right? Those who are able to evolve from that carbon-based mind to that diamond mind, that is a higher frequency of picture that's being pulled in. They're trying to throw that off. This is why they're going from 4G to 5G, because all that really means is they're using higher forms of your fiber optics and a lot of artificial elements to speed up the procession of their artificial thought, to slow down the procession of your natural thought. They have to keep up with the rate of projected frequency or projected transmission that's coming into the planet. Because listen, when they keep talking about the planet is going through a meltdown and that the ozone layers are going away, they keep talking about that. The reason why that happens is because the rate of transmission that comes through the sun starts to intensify and speed up as it's supposed to as part of the evolution, and the people who are supposed to be the receivers of it, their brain and their minds are being altered to receive it. So then they're going to start to pick up more mental transmission. They're going to start to pick up telepathy. They're going to start to see big, stronger visions, being able to see visions of the future. These are all capabilities, high mental capabilities of a diamond mind or a diamondated mind, one that's going from carbon to diamond. You see? And how you, again, notice the image I put up there tonight. Notice they put the image of a woman, and you could tell it's a silhouette of a bronze woman, and she has a diamond in her head. Now, why would who would make that image up? Obviously, somebody had to be thinking, or that image had to come to somebody for a reason. See, when you start getting images like that, why would you put a diamond in the head of a bronze woman or in the head of anybody? What does that mean? Why would you put it there in place of where their brain is supposed to be? Answer. Because they know that the evolution of the brain from a carbon-based element, because again, that's what your brain is. If everything else is carbon, and so is your brain. So is your brain. If everything else is carbon or carbon-based, just like your brain, it can eventually, certain people can eventually go from that carbon-based brain to a diamond-based brain and a diamond-based mind, meaning a magnetic pulsation or magnetic energy that's given off from around the brain to pull in the transmission from the higher and the upper dimensions. Let me take a quick call. 914. 914. Okay, I'm not hearing nothing from 914. All right, nothing from 914. All right. Am I making myself clear? Is this coming in clear? I want to make sure this is coming in clear. All right. So, this is the transmission that we are, as the elect, receiving, because the elect represent those who are going to evolve into that diamond mind, that are going to have that capability. Remember, we are all like televisions, and we're all like walking televisions and radios. Remember that image the so-called white man put up there of people walking around with like their heads were shaped like television, right? He did that because he realizes that the same way he can program you, right, with his images, his artificial images that he puts in his mind, aka his television programs or his shows, he realizes that a real program is being replaced every time you're looking at and watching his program. A real program is being replaced. His television And his media represent the artificial program that is picked up by your carbonated brain. The real program, the extended program, which is coming in from the fourth dimension and above into your brain and into your mind, is being pulled by your mind, those are the elect. You are starting to see that this is low-grade frequency, low-grade messages and transmission that they're sending. And we're starting to look at, notice we're looking at everything, and we're starting to realize just what it is that we're looking at. Then you still got these so-called black people. They don't even know what's going on around them because they only transmit on a lower level, on a low frequency. We're starting to transmit and receive on a higher frequency. This is why something like a Mentellect can live today, can even be present. A Republic of Mentellect can even exist today, can be in alignment today, why people are receiving it today. Because we are going in and we are pulling these transmissions out. We're being extended in our reception because our minds are starting to become dominated. Our minds are becoming dominated. Our minds are becoming crystallized for the ability of higher projection and reception, for the ability of higher reception of extended messages and higher mental capabilities, which come by way of our Armenic ascendance, which we are a part of the Armenic ascendancy, because again, we were put here as a projection, certain ones of us, to advance and pull in projected images, and thus guide the planet forward in the fourth dimension. We're being extended mentally in the projection to receive these transmissions at extended rates so that we're able to project them and push them back out. And in doing this, this is what's going to separate those who are of the almond race with those who are of the human race. Like I said, the ability to fly, levitate, lift off, send telepathic messages, all the stuff that the white man puts up in his comic books and his fantasy and in his movies. You know, those are real capabilities. And those capabilities, the reason why he gets these ideas in his head is because they're being transmitted into the planet. And they were always being transmitted into the planet for certain people to pick it up and see it and start to connect with it. So now as we receiving it, it don't seem far-fetched anymore. It's nothing right now. If you notice, there's nothing right now for that telepathic ability to kick in. There's nothing for you to receive telepathic. You be thinking about somebody, next thing you know, you see them. Or y'all sharing thoughts. You don't even have to talk to nobody. Y'all sharing thoughts. They're finishing each other's conversation. That's the evolution taking place. Or you send messages to somebody to do something, they go in and doing it. That's the evolution starting to pick up and take place. But that's only going to happen in the elect. We are at the next stage, which is the diamond mind. We're coming into that gradually. But we have to still move away from or separate from those who are of the carbon brain, the carbon minds. Because the carbon brains and the carbon minds are going to be, you know how they say, they're going to be obsolete after a while. The low level or the lowlanders. And the diamond minds are going to be the ones who will be able to come back and forth between the third and fourth dimension and the higher and extended states. These are all dominated projections because the beast, he done cut people's brains out. And they're good at that. They done cut out people's brains. And they done went inside the brains and looked inside the brains and did all these other things, whatnot, because they're trying to figure out how it works, the different passages in the brain, the neurotransmitters. Notice that neurotransmitter. If you listen to the word neurotransmitter, it sounds just like what it is. It sounds like a machine. Your brain is a machine, a carbon machine, all right? They said, you know, it has the appearance of a muscle, which is another way of saying a mechanism, right? It's a mechanism. And it processes pictures. It processes sound. It processes all these things that come in to this atmosphere. It processes it so that you know what you're hearing, what you're looking at, right? It processes these things. So and it's able to process pictures and images and sounds and things like that, right? This is a neuro capability, a brain capability a brain function, then that means that your brain has to function as a receiver or a receptor, and that cannot happen without the presence of elements. That cannot happen without the presence of elements. Elements have to be present in your brain to pick up pictures and images for you to even have the lowest level of senses, aka sensors, sensory. For you to even have the lowest level of sensory or senses, hearing, seeing, speaking, all these things that you do in the five senses, just to have that comes by way of what? That comes by way of carbon-based reception and transmission in your brain, right? Again, how do they study the age of people? What do they call it? Carbon dating. They call it carbon dating. They carbon date skulls, don't they? If they carbon date skulls, that means skulls have carbon in them. On some level, they have carbon. If you can carbon date something, that means it has carbon in it, right? You can't get something from something from a thing that don't have it. So if they carbon date it, has carbon. Everything that has, all the elements in here or have carbon base or carbon coating on it. We're those ones who have the highest form of carbon. Even your humans have low forms of carbon, which is called melanin. That's really what melanin is. It's low forms of carbon, right? This is what keeps the humans grounded. This is what keeps the humans cut off from the levitational lift, whereas we have the not only just the gravitational pull, but the levitational lift. This is what keeps the humans cut off, right? This keeps them cut off because they are melanated beings. And I said it, we're not melanated beings. You're humans, you're Caucasians, you're East Indians, you're Asians, you're Mexicans. They are melanated beings, aka low-frequency carbonated beings. Because that's all melanin is. It's artificial carbon. Water-based, as I taught y'all before. It's water-based carbon. You see, that's why I said, if you notice, our skin tone and complexion don't look like nobody else's here. Even though, like I said, they call us brown people, we don't look like that. We have a different coating on our skin. That's the carbon coating on the skin. And the carbon coating on the skin that's in the skin, that's present in the body, is also present in the brain. It's present. Now, depending on how much you've been mixed out with everybody, depending on how much human genetic material, artificial genetic material is in you, depending on what bloodline you are connected to, will determine whether you have that ability to go from carbonated beings, having that carbonated brain and that carbonated mind, to a diamondated mind and a diamondated brain, a crystallized diamond brain, a high-functioning receiver. You see? And like I said, and the children that are going to be born coming into this next phase, they're going to carry it even stronger. Their perception is going to be stronger. This is why the beast is working against that right now, to stop those children from coming in. Because they know an evolution is taking place where it's going to be a group of children, a whole next generation, that are going to have these diamondated minds. Their minds are going to be more diamond-based. So they're going to have more mental capabilities. And with each generation is coming forward, they're going to continue to have it. That's why they want to stop our people from mass producing a certain segment of our people. But really, they want all of our people, so-called bronze race, to stop mass producing, because we're due for this diamond evolution in certain ones of our people. They don't know how many is going to happen, how many people, but they know it's going to happen. And evolution is going to take place in the minds of our people. And that's that diamondated state. That is the literal turning or the evolving of our carbonated brain into a diamondated state, or a diamond state, or a crystallized state. And the mind or the magnetic current around the brain becoming diamondated. Because the current, or that mental current around the brain, can carry a diamondated energy, because again, elements carry energy as well. So people say, well, how's there a diamondated energy? All elements carry energy. there's a diaminated energy as well, which is the diaminated mind, because the mind is nothing but energy force field around the brain. That's all the mind is. They call it a light or aura, and when that light goes out, that energy field goes out around the brain, they call you brain dead. So obviously, in order for you to, whatever your brain is turning into or evolving into, the mind field around it is casting that energy off. Because that mind field, that energy field, that mind field is generated by the brain. It's generated by the brain to pull in transmission and projection. It is our receiver. So in order for us to have these advanced ways of thinking, obviously, because what's the difference between us who are those high-functioning receivers versus those people who are low-functioning, aka the intelligent ones versus the ignorant ones? What is the difference? Obviously, it has to be in the way you process thought. It has to be in the way you receive and process thought. So obviously, if you receive and process thought differently from everybody else, obviously it has to do with something that's going on in your brain. It has to do with something that's going on in your brain. And what's going on in your brain is the changing, the evolving, or the evolution of it. And they're going to fight you. These humans are going to fight you tooth and nail to stop the evolution from taking place. They're going to fight you tooth and nail to stop this mental evolution from taking place. All right? They're going to try, like I said, it's why you notice you're going to see a lot of so-called black people, bronze people being destroyed, killed, kidnapped, being made to mix their seed with these humans so that they can survive. Because again, without the mixture of the bronze people with the rest of these humans, the Caucasians, the East Indians, the Asians, and all these other races of earthbound beings, they're not going to be able to survive because they're not going to be able to receive the transmission. Remember, I'm going to show you, remember in the movie Planet of the Apes, that last movie, Planet of the Apes, when they said that the humans was going to start grunting and groaning and whatnot, they wouldn't even be able to speak anymore? How many of y'all remember that in that last movie, Planet of the Apes? How many remember that when Woody Harrelson and them, they couldn't talk no more, they would start grunting and groaning and whatnot, kind of like how they was back in the days when they was in the caves. When they were cavemen, they couldn't speak, right? Why do you think that was? That happened because, again, as the apes were evolving more and more, the apes were evolving. I'm just showing you an analogy of what they know is going to happen. As the apes started evolving more and more in their thinking, and they process becoming the cream of the crop, becoming the rulers of the planet, the humans started to fall behind mentally, so they were not able to receive or transmit the projections that were coming into the earth anymore. They were not able to extend mentally. So this is why they were showing you that. They know that that's going to happen with those who are going to raise the bright race or the almond race. They're going to start to receive these high mental transmissions, and as we start to extend mentally, they're going to start to fall down mentally. They're going to start to slow down mentally. They're going to start to slow down mentally. They're going to start to basically short-circuit mentally. Why you think you're seeing all this crazy behavior from these Caucasians and the rest of these humans on the planet? Yeah, they pushing transgenderism, transsexualism, all this homosexuality, all this madness, push having children, especially your children wearing dresses, which is really why they're doing it, to stop them from procreating. They want your men to embrace homosexuality because they know that the bronze men are going to be the strongest receivers going forward on this planet as we continue. They know that. So the aim is to capture the mind and the body of the bronze people, because they're going to be the highest functioning receivers on the planet. The elect anyway. Not the black people, the elect. The bronze people who are coming from amongst the black race. They already know that's going to happen. And as you start to advance mentally, as you start to evolve, and that dominated mind starts to come out of the carbon brain, that dominated mind, that dominated brain starts to come from the carbon brain and the carbon mind's brain, you're going to develop a greater understanding, a greater comprehension of the projected images and messages that are coming in, which is going to advance and evolve you in your thinking and your higher mental capabilities and your eventual levitational capabilities. All this is going to take place as part of your evolution, because everything starts from what? The mind. Everything starts from the mind, and everything continues by way of the mind, because the mind is the receiver. The mind is the receiver, and so is the brain. They work together hand in hand, right? So we in that stage right now. We're in the process of that right now. I wasn't planning on doing this, at least not today. I was like, let me go ahead and knock this out and whatnot. Let me go ahead and attack this right now while this is fresh and whatnot. Because I'm like, so I'm giving y'all all live feed right now. It's coming to me and I'm receiving it. I'm giving it to you all now. So if I'm kind of slow and explaining certain things, only because I'm trying to find the right words so it's coming in clear to you also. If I'm stuttering on my words, it's because I'm trying to find the right words to describe how I'm receiving it so that y'all get it. I want it to be very, simple to break down, very logical and rational as I'm trying to, continuously explain it to us logical and rational so that you have an understanding of it, a complete comprehension of it. Because I don't want people to be like, certain parts of it. And please, if those of you who do not understand or comprehend what's being said, please call in, right? Let's talk about it. Because, like I said, I'm going to thrive on these questions because I want to know, I want to make sure before I get off of this phone tonight that it's completely understood what it is I'm trying to explain to you, what I'm trying to convey. I do not want to leave anybody to think that, he didn't make himself clear, or, it seemed like he was kind of struggling to try to, get it out. Does he know what he's saying? I know exactly what I'm saying. I'm just trying to make sure that you know what I'm saying. All right? Sometimes how they say the brain works faster than the physical, the speech. I know how I'm trying to explain it to you all, but as it's coming in, I'm trying to push it out to where as it's, understood. That's how I want to, I want it covered. And I know my people get it. Because when they say class, I know, or they say clear, I know they get it. What it is I'm trying to, put across. Because like I said, this is all mental perception and projection that we're picking up. And we have to be able to process these transmissions. And the only way to process these transmissions is by the evolution of our minds into a dominated state. Because they're going to get that fine in their transmission, meaning that, I want to say, not fine, but that advanced, that pure. In other words, you're going to have to be that tuned in mentally to be able to hear the transmission. You're going to have to be that advanced and evolved in your way of thinking to hear this transmission. You see, it's not going to be for the people who hear it. No, I know he's. No, you're going to have to be tuned in to get this. You're going to have to be mentally tuned in to get this. But the people who are not mentally tuned in, it's not, they're going to be, that sounds crazy. That sounds like nonsense. That's fine. Turn it off. Don't listen to it. The people who can't process, please don't listen. It's not for you. It's only for the high-functioning thinkers. This message is for the high-functioning thinkers. That's why I said I don't want regular people listening to me. I don't have a regular message to offer. Right? Because you're not going to understand it, and you're going to sit around here and try to make a joke out of it, you think it's something funny or whatnot. There's nothing funny about what's being said. This is a real evolution of mental projection that's taking place right now. Right now. So those of you, if you're going to call in and be serious with your questions, right? The people who claim, he's saying stuff and this and that. I always give people a chance to call in. You know the number, 319-527-6028. Call in and speak to the host. All right? Ask me any questions concerning this, and I'll break it down to you, all the way down to you, so that it's very clear. Because that's what I want. I want clarity. Because just like when you notice when they say they look at, what they say when the diamond merchants look at the diamonds, they want to make sure that the diamond has no flaws in it, that it is pure, that it has no flaws and these blacks, whatever, how they say these black, whatever in it. Because when they talk about the flaws in it, they still talking about the low-grade carbon that can be seen in the diamond. Because sometimes, and that's the difference between high-grade diamonds and low-grade diamonds, some of it will still have flaws of the carbon that it came out of in the diamonds. That's why they'll look at the black parts in the diamond. When the diamond's supposed to be crystal clear. The diamonds are supposed to be crystal clear. That's the difference between a diamond that's considered to be a top, tiered diamond versus diamonds that's floored. They call those floored diamonds. They have those black, those old carbon leftovers in the diamond. All right. We're not going to have that in our diamondated mines. There's going to be no more filters of the black left in our diamondated mines. No more carbon in our diamondated mines. We'll be right back. I saw a call up there. Those of you got a call, press in 1. Those of you got a call, press 1. I saw you 352, press 1. I'll take your call. All right. Oh, somebody wanted to call in. All right. So, in the evolution of this mental transmission, right? Like I say, if you ever notice, when they show you coming from the heads of people, why do you think that aura comes around the heads of the people? Again, that's meaning higher transmission coming in. That's what that means, higher transmission coming in. When they showed you in the ancient world the auras of light around the head, again, that glow represented projection or transmission coming into the minds of those certain people, right? And again, those people are going through diamond phases and diamond stages of their mind. Right? They're going through diamond phases and diamond stages of their minds. So their projection is becoming more extended. The picture is becoming more extended. I'm going to take a call.
Hey, what up,
352, you're on the air. 352, you're on the air.
I'm on the air. I hear you. What's up?
What's going on, bro?
Hey, everything's good. I mean, I just miss you, hearing you on the radio. So I figured I've been trying to reach out to try to figure out, damn, where's this dude at? And I couldn't get it. So tonight I finally got you. So I just wanted the information to see what, well, you gave it to me now. So, I mean, I didn't trust it for a little bit, but I got it because there's a lot of frauds out there. So I just wanted to reach out. You sent me a friend request, right? You the guy sent me the friend request, right? I did. Yeah. I did.
Okay. All right.
I did that earlier. I mean, I didn't have a question. I just, like I said, always enjoyed listening and learning from you, bro. I ain't got nothing negative to say or anything. I know the last, what I said with the last podcast I heard, to me it was negative. I really don't get into the negative side of things. Because I thought you was putting out a positive message or reaching the people that you needed to reach, and I was patient.
Let me stop you, sir, just for a second.
Okay.
I'm not here to put out a.
Okay.
I'm not here to put out a
real
message or.
I got
No. That's what I'm saying. I'm not here to put out a positive or negative message. I'm here to put it out as it goes through me. To put it out. Certain things I'll speak on will tend to be a little harsh, and certain things will tend to be a little light. But again, it's not based on positive and negative. The message is never going to be based on it. It's always going to be based on reality. So
I feel you on that one, and that's kind of what I deal with in life. I always dealt with it in life like that. I'm kind of harsh on that as well. I really don't deal with. I try to. There's an ambivert and there's an ambivert, right? Ambivert, introvert, extrovert, and introvert. Excuse me. I'm an ambivert. I'm definitely in the middle. So if I deal with life, I'm content on everything that goes on. I'm not a happy person. I'm not a sad person. I stay in the middle because both of those are polarities or dualities. I don't deal with it. I respected the message that you put out there, and I kind of listen to all of them, even some of the buffoons that are out there when they talk about the conscious. I just don't like the how everyone's arguing and can't come under one umbrella and kind of build a community up, which is there's no community anyway. I always respected that messages that we're putting out there anyway. And when you kind of look at it, it goes back to your own household, right? So when I listened to the last podcast, it hit me hard when. Because you gave the young lady an opportunity to call in, and that's the last I heard. And I'll be straight. And then, because I'm going to work, my people at work, they listen to this dude right here. I mean, they can look at it and laugh. I get it sometimes, but that's how I come off. I have to kind of chill out at work because I grew up, the men that were in my life were alphas. Mm-hmm. So there wasn't really, it was always serious shit. It was serious shit. Like, it was like, hey, you know what I mean? This is how we do things. This is what it is. It's black and white. You know, so when I went to work, I was like, yo, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, I mean, I was saying, I rush you up, brother, but I'm listening. But we, we can't do that. I got to take, I got to, keep it moving along. I'm gonna rush you off.
All right, keep it moving. And my bad. Keep it moving. That's cool. I get it. I'm glad I got you. You sent me the information, so I got it. And like I said, I was kind of like, damn, is this him or not? And then, yeah. All right, I call back. So this is because I'm a man of my word.
We on every night. From
I got you now. I'll follow you. You'll get my information. Yeah. I got you. And let me just do it. I know your rules. So, I mean, I get it. Whatever. That's me. And I'll be in touch.
All right, brother. Let me see you on Facebook. Take care.
All right, my man.
All right. So the transmission is constantly in a continuous zip formation. And the receivers of that zip formated transmission are the diamondated minds. Those are the people who think in continuous, what the beast calls hertz or direct current. The diamond mind takes the direct current straight through. And it is necessary as you are starting to elevate and penetrate these different dimensions, right? These different diameters, these different diagrams. Notice the word diagram, diamond. Diameter, as in measurement of angles and sides, right? Where images, messages, and pictures enter from either side, because each side of a diamond, just like each side base, is meant to be open. You have in this planet 4 open spaces, right? North, south, east, west. And they have smaller spaces within those 4 regions that pull in transmission, and that transmission goes throughout the planet and is picked up by these elements and these diamonds and all this other stuff, and it is sent continuously out throughout the planet. It is reverberating. The transmission is reverberating, like as you hear my voice, you hearing it picking up to you, the transmission is reverberating into this planet, and people are picking up on it. The same way you have a stream, a current inside of a stream, or a current inside of a body of water, right? You have a current in the body of water, right, to keep the flow of life going, to keep everything moving in the water. Because like I said, the water is what pulls people because of the current. So the air pulls us, and the air carries what? Sound. Sound is carried on the air. As the term they say when they're on the radio, they say we on the air. Notice that? When they're in the radio, they say we on the air. We on air. Like right now, I'm on air. Because my voice is going out over these mechanisms that are really made with low-grade crystals. All of these mechanisms that the beast is using to transmit these radio shows, these television shows, they're using crystals. Those are crystals in your TV and that pick it up. Now, I'm not talking about the outside body, but there's crystals in this Apple phone that I'm doing the broadcast from. There's crystals in here. Okay? You can't get any reception or any transmission without crystal. They call them fiber optics and all these fiber. No, what they found the way to do is make the crystals smaller and hide them in more plastic. That's really what your fiber optics are, and these artificial materials. But they found a way to get the crystals to work, and in order to pull in the sound, the tone, the frequency better. But as the sound on these artificial things get better, as the technology gets better, what has to happen in order for the technology to increase? That means the mind's going to increase on another level. The minds are going to increase. Now we don't come to the apex of everything here as far as technology go. A lot of the apex, because right now the so-called white men, they ain't doing nothing but redoing the stuff they did early. Like all you'll see is maybe upgraded cars, upgraded planes, upgraded, versions of the older stuff they had. There's nothing left for them to upgrade. There's really nothing left. You know why? Because they've already exhausted technology. Now we're going into a mental stage where the elect or the projected ones are going to be the ones who are going to be upgraded. And their capabilities, their technological advancement and capabilities is going to be the transmission of this mental power and direction of these humans onto this planet, and thus starting them working and healing and speeding up the natural order of the planet again, arming over humans. That's what we do. As the technology gets more advanced, what happens? The people get advanced. The humans ain't going to get no more advanced than what they are. That's why they coming in with all this transhumanism, trying to mix themselves with machine parts. They want to mix their seed with the black female, everybody, because that's all part of transhumanism. Transsexuality, all this trans back and forth. This means they're transferring things back and forth to make or try to stay in alignment to this transmission that's coming through that only the bright receivers are going to get. Only the highest frequency is only going to be by the bright receivers. And you're going to have the low-level deceivers, the rejectors. They're not going to be able to pick it up, so they're going to have to receive their orders from on high. On high means the elect. On high means those whose minds have become dominated in state to receive all of this projection, all this mental power, all these mental capabilities that's coming forward for us to take law and order over on this planet again. I told you all before, this is a grab for power, mind power. This is a grab for mind power. Mind power. And this is where our capability will extend. Because again, the beast done shot his shot already, man. He done came with all of his technical things to kill people, to watch people, and all this other stuff. That's pretty much it. That's it. And anything they doing, they showing you is just nothing but a more upgraded version of what they did before. That's it. That's the end of their age. You see it. That's why they having a meltdown. That's why they flipping out. That's why they taking it out on the black race. Because they know that the next ruling body of people who are going to be the dominated minds, the real technologically advanced beings, who are going to produce even higher grades of technology than these humans ever thought about, and our children. They know that. You see? And they hate that. That's why they're trying to mix their seed with the black woman. They're trying to make the black man a homosexual. They're doing everything. They're trying. This is nothing but eugenics. All this pushing the transgenderism, homosexuality, young black, so-called black boys, bronze boys wearing dresses, is nothing but them practicing eugenics, which is basically to stop so-called black people, bronze people from producing children. That's what they really want. Because they know the children that's going to be produced, a lot of the children, not all of them, a lot of them are going to still but a good number of them are going to be highly functional, mentally functional. They know that. They know they're going to have that power. And the elect represents the door or the gateway to that open power for them. We represent that in this day and time. We in that seat right now. Right now. That's why I told you, I ain't got no more time for foolishness and stupidity, man. None. I'm not entertaining foolishness and stupidity no more with nobody. I told you all before, and I said again, we in this for the power, man. Hail Amen. We in this for the power of the Amen race, being in alignment. That's what we in this for. I don't give a goddamn about nobody's emotions. I don't care how nobody feel about it. I don't care what they think I'm wrong. Am I running a scam? I don't give a goddamn no more. Think what you want. We want these dominated minds. Just like I said, it's coming. And we're going to be walked up into that state. Let's get it. We'll be right back. In this transmission, it is meant for us to produce a frequency from this transmission. In this transmission, it is meant for us to produce a frequency within this transmission. It is a continuous transmission that has a continuous echoing, a vibration, a reverberation, a tone that's being set, a tone that is cracking open the fourth dimension. You see, they had to stop. That's another reason why they stopped music here, too. They stopped real music here because of the tone, okay? The tone and the frequency of the music that the bronze people were putting out was cracking open the fourth dimension, especially in the 70s. Especially in the 70s, late 60s, but definitely the 70s, starting the 70s. That was cracking open a whole new level. I told you before, in the Gregorian calendar, we actually 30 years ahead of everybody. In 1970 was the year 2000, and the music changed. Again, that was due to tone and frequency and the revealing of that advanced, dominated mind that was starting to overtake our people. This is why we start. We get glimpses and we get flashes of projections, and that means our mind is in a level of development when we receive these glimpses of our future and who we are as an advanced race, who we are as that carbon race, or that bronze race, who are evolving in those dominated beings. We are those race of supermen and superwomen on this planet. And the clones are our low-level descendants. But we are that super race, that almond race. And a lot of our people have been mixed with the human race, or mixing their seed with the human race. And they're cutting the reception of their seeds in half. The transmission is guiding the elect forward, tone and their frequency. This is why they had to change the frequency on the music. They made sure they changed the music mid-level in the 70s and whatnot. 76, 77, they started changing into the disco, because the disco was nothing but a more how I want to say, artificial tone of the soul music or whatever, and the rock and roll mixed together with a more artificial tone, frequency, and reception. You see, this is really what this is. As we are going forward, as we are transmitting toward higher tones and higher frequencies, this is what is being picked up. Because only the dominated minds will be able to get it. Only those minds who are crystallizing into higher mental states will get that, who are able to receive this projection, because, again, the projection is becoming clearer. You see? It's becoming clearer. You see? And as it becomes clearer, it starts to reverberate, and as it reverberates, it takes the whole of people's brains who are still low-functioning, low-frequency beings, because, again, once this dominated brain and dominated mind start to kick in more and more, like I said, the mental capabilities and who's going to be in charge is going to totally switch. It is going to totally switch. And it will appear as though it happened overnight. They know that's coming. Like I said, all it takes is a whole generation to be born. And they coming through the elect. They're coming through the elect. They're going to be raised through the elect. Right? They're going to be raised through the elect. And their minds are going to be, as time keeps going, becoming more and more dominated. 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 Domination. Domination. The same thing. Domination, domination. Taking control of those recessive beings. Taking control of these human and recessive beings in the name of Amen. As the Amen race, keeping the law and the order in this fourth dimensional planet of Amen that we're coming into. You're watching the transition and the transformation right now. That's why you're seeing all this stuff melting down. You see these humans going crazy. You see all this madness. They shutting down mentally already. So as like I said, you're going to see them walking around in their most rarest state. You so-called bronze people who with the so-called white man and the white woman, you better be careful. You want to see them at their real raw state. You want to see these Negroes at their goddamn raw state. Because, again, as we are advancing, going toward that dominated state, you're going to see these people devolving, man. They're going to go even further, lower and lower into that dead carbonated state, man. You see? And the beast knows that. He knows if he don't mix his seed with what's left of the so-called black race, they totally out the picture, man. So that's why you've seen these cities, these black females are getting kidnapped, probably getting harvested for their genes or for their eggs. or whatever, get them to take their eggs and inject the Caucasian sperm into it and whatnot and make a bunch of little mulattoes. They don't know where they came from. You're going to start seeing that. That's why you see all these black women getting abducted. They ain't just getting abducted for no organ trafficking. They know they're going to need those future children, those mulattoes, to get any partial reception that they can get. They're going to need those future mulatto seeds to get some reception that's going to serve and work for them. You see, it's all planned out. This is their form of survival right now. They in survival mode right now. These humans are in survival mode. That's why they got your black men wearing, your black boys wearing dresses, trying to convince them to be homosexuals. Anything that they don't, so that it influences other bronze children not to replicate themselves, not to replicate. They don't want you to replicate. You see, they don't want you. The beast don't want you to replicate. They're trying to convince your children to embrace homosexuality. That's why I said the black race is born, because most of them are already clones, and they're clones. They're going to just accept it anyway, man. And they're going to just follow. That's why it has to be a separation. That's another reason why I keep going about the separation, so the dominated minds can build up, man. The domination could build up mentally. You can't build up the domination. You can't build up that diamond mind. You can't build it up when you're amongst a bunch of carbon brains, man. A bunch of low-functioning, low-frequency brains that are caught in the past, they're caught in the present, man. They can't move forward into the future, man. That's why I say the black brain represents the carbon brain, man. We ain't thinking about the carbon brain no more. We thinking about the diamond brain, man. Diamond mind. They carbon brains, carbon minds, man. They not getting this, man. They not of the elect. You see, they not of the elect. They, like I said, they low-level beings like the beast and these creatures, these humans that was created here on the planet. You see, that's why we got to separate from them, man. That's why I said, this is why Amen told us we have to be in a covenant, in a community, man, collectively all over the planet, man. We have to be those high receivers and high receptors of this transmission of the Lord, man. The law and the order. The Lord, when I say the Lord, you know I mean the law and the order, man. There ain't no Lord, no God over everybody, no devil. No, this is representing the Lord, represents the next law and the next order. And it's only going to come to those people who are in power, in position to receive these transmissions, those people who have those dominated minds in alignment. That's how they got to come. And it's coming that way. And they trying to hold it back. But they can't hold that back. That's something that the beast cannot hold back, man. Again, because this planet has to go forward into natural order. It has to go forward. It has been out of order since we've been out of order mentally. Everything has been out of order because we've been out of order mentally. That's why you've seen all this slavery happen, the white man over our people, or these humans over our people. We looking down on ourselves. We believe our goddamn skin is black. We listening to these people. We following their nonsense. We following their low-level beliefs because, again, we've been out of alignment with that higher dominated projection that was coming in. We lost our minds, our mental capability to receive these higher and extended messages of who we are meant to be in every last single dimension going forward. 4 words. 4 words. Did y'all hear me? Did y'all hear me? This is really happening. This is really happening. And for those, like I said, this message is going out here for the elect. This message is going out here for the elect to come and gather within this covenant, within this community, man. You see, the ones, like I said, this message is only going out for the elect. It ain't going out for the rejects or the black race or we ain't calling for the black race. We don't want the black race. We don't want the human race. We want the almond race, the bright race. Those who can receive this transmission, those who are ready to walk into this community, walk into this covenant, and not be emotional, not look back. Because those are going to be the people that are going to be worthy to receive the transmission and the evolution of that dominated mind. The people who are not looking back. The people who are not getting all emotional. The people who are looking forward to the future. That's who we want coming into this community, man. That's who we want to remain in this community, man. We don't want these niggas with us. Carbonated, stiff-minded niggas with us. Only the intellectual. Only the bright race. Only the almond race. That's all we want with us. That's all I want. That's really all who I want listening to these messages. I don't give a goddamn about the other people that listen. All I want is the bright race, man. I ain't out here, we ain't on YouTube for no views, man. We only want the bright ones of our people picking this message up. A nigga ain't gonna get this, man. This ain't for the nigga, man. He wanna still be an African. He still wanna be black power. He still think he's black. He wanna be a whatever. You understand? He wanna be an earthbound being. We are celestial beings, man. We have always been celestial beings on having this terrestrial experience right now. We as the elect have always been celestial beings that are having a terrestrial experience right now. And those who are truly of that celestial effect, who are truly of that celestial and intellectual life, those who are truly of it, they're going to come into alignment with this. They're going to know that the reason why they're coming here is to harness this power, harness this mental power drawn in by these diamond minds. We're here as a community to harness mental power, man, and to segregate ourselves from the black minds, man. That's what the hell we here for. This ain't no goddamn Facebook group, man. This ain't no organization. We join and then, we ain't down no more, we gonna leave. No, man. The people who think like that told you, don't join, man. We don't want you here. You gotta be born into this, man. You can't fake your way in here. The diamond minds won't let you. So let me go ahead and read these questions before we get out of here. What is the diamond mind? The diamond mind is simply the diamond reception that's going to come from a diamondated or a diamond brain, which is evolving from a carbon brain into a diamond brain to receive diamond become that mental diamond or that diamondated mind or that transmission around the brain to pull in higher messages coming from the upper dimensions so that we can take our place within those states of power as we start to advance mentally. Telepathy, psychometry, clairvoyance, intuition are all capabilities of the diamond mind. You cannot get those capabilities unless you have a diamond mind. That's your mind is evolving into a diamondated mind. You cannot get those capabilities, nor will you ever understand this message of mental life if you are a black person. This ain't for black people. Who will have it? Only the elect. The ones who are coming out of the black race. Only the elect. Is it a form of mental evolution? Yes, it is. Very much so. It is a total mental evolution. Because you so-called black people are already dead. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said you black people are mentally dead, man. So that when he said that, that was a sign of who he was in the beginning, man. The first Amun Ray. He dealt with the mind. He understood it was a mind thing. So now we're taking it full on into the diamondated state, man. Because you people with them carbon black minds, you couldn't get it. And you still won't get it. What will the mind receive? The mind will receive future pictures of an extended and continuous evolution and transmission of power as the law and the order, as the elect, the Amun race, going into different dimensions and even into different solar systems. Right? Can the diamond mind transmit to other receivers? Yes, that's what telepathy is. Telepathy is nothing but the diamondated minds transmitting to other receivers who carry the same mind. Because again, that's why y'all able to receive. Those of you who are able to finish each other's words and got the same thoughts. Your minds are locked into one culmination of continuous power. That's it. We're going to close out in the name of Amen by the power of Amen. In Amen we trust, in Amen we thank, and in Amen we continue forward forever. I am the intellectual NUBEN MENKARAYZZ. This has been Mentellect Radio. Good night, all my mentellectuals out there. We're closing out with the future. Okay.
It's the Republic of Mentellect, rising out the black race to the bright race, out the black race to the bright race. It's the Republic of Mentellect, black race to the bright race. If it's hell, then it's hell us. They tried everything just to spell us. Fed us religion, gave us fake gods. Through all of that, we beat the odds. Now we coming together under one flag. Colors red, gold, and blue. Superman, Superwoman, that's me and you. The infinite capabilities that we can do.